Hey Moondust, welcome to the podcast.
How's it going? Good to be
Yo,
here.
yo, it is an absolute honor having you on. We ran into a little bit of miscommunication.
Oh,
You didn't think I was gonna call that out, but I did.
dude, I feel like a dinosaur, like so ancient. It's like, oh, it won't connect. Oh, now my device is too old to connect to that. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to try something new because I want to get more into recording like 1080p
Yeah,
video and like higher quality audio. So I was trying
sure.
something new and I was just like, let me just put the free trial on and I'll send you the link and hopefully like everything will just be work. But now I know that it has a flaw, so
No
that's
headphones, no mics, no.
oh man, but it's all good. And for the listeners, let them know who you are.
Well, I'm Brian, aka Moondust. I operate and run a design studio here
Hmm.
out of in well, out in the San Bernardino area.
Hmm.
So we won't say exactly where, but out
Yeah,
in the San
don't.
Bernardino area. Um, but yeah, we run a little studio out here, and we make special boxes. Well, we're known for making special boxes for shoes
Hmm.
and other things, but mostly the shoes. We make our own items as well, hoodies,
Hmm.
t-shirts, all kinds of random other things. But yeah, that's sort of us in a nutshell. Small little design studio, just trying to have fun in the sneaker game.
No, yeah, I think because like I don't think a lot of people are familiar with how design studios are run and like operated. They just see it like on the street or like well in New York City, I've seen design studios and it'll be like yeah we just print and whatever, but there's like nobody else trying to like expand and do other stuff that like would help bring in the business.
Right, right. Yeah, it's just what is that? It's a design studio. Oh, for what? I don't know. And it is, and it kind of is. In a lot of ways, we're a design studio, so we do all of it. I
Hmm.
worked for Element Skateboards
Hmm.
for 14 years. I was the art director for 8 of those years,
Wow.
and so that bringing all that experience into now doing this, it's sort of the roots of it is skateboarding,
Yeah.
for me. And so being able to kind of take all of that and then everything I learned and do it for myself now, that's what I'm doing.
Mhm.
That's the plan. Is just follow that plan, everything I learned, and see what we can do with Moondust.
I'm trying to like think of a skater on Element, and the only person I can think of right now is Andrew Reynolds. Am I right?
No, no, no,
Damn
no.
it,
Nigel Houston.
Nigel
Nigel Houston
Houston.
was on
Yes,
Element for a while. Yes,
yeah.
Houston. Mark Alper. There's a lot of really good skateboarders
Uh-huh.
on Element, but yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. It's just the roots of where we come from. I mean, mostly we're talking about sneakers. It's a shoe,
Yeah.
but for me, it's SBs, right? And a lot of it is it's because of skateboarding. I've worked in skateboarding for so long. I skate
Hmm.
myself, and so I've turned a lot of these guys pro. So 14 years of turning people pro. It definitely has become a lifestyle for me. It's a part of my life.
Hmm.
Is people. I'm used to. I guess that's just what I do. I'm used to that. So people are like, this guy collects all the SBs and all this shit, but he doesn't skate on. I'm like, well, wait a second. Yes, I do,
Hmm.
and I am a skateboarder, and it takes people time to actually accept. It took people time to accept me because they're just like, and not that it mattered to me, but it was just like, oh, who's this guy, and why does he have all these SB dunks, and what is it, and what is it about it? And I was like, oh, I work in skateboarding, and been working in skateboarding.
Hmm.
That's how it sort of worked its way to all of this. Is that they're like, how does he get every dunk? Well, I've done a lot of time. I've done a lot of
Yeah.
time in this industry, and over time, your friends go and open up shops, and they do,
Hmm.
things like that. A lot of your reps that were reps at Element, they went and opened up shops, or you met friends along the way, and then they have shops, and it's just one of those things. It's a relationship and not a plug.
Yeah.
Over anything. It's a big difference. I think I was like, oh, what's your plug? It's like I don't got a plug. I do have a relationship with that. It's one of my really good friends for the last 10 years. So
Hmm.
one of those things. But
No,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. My thing with because I've also when I first started, I was collecting SBs wholeheartedly because I grew up on skateboarding. Like I love skateboarding. I mean, basketball's cool, but like for me, it was skateboard sneakers. That was just like I was never able to get on a board. I didn't have a center of gravity or like a center of balance and none of that. I had none of it. So like, but Who asked for a skateboard when he was 7 years old? I did. And who was in the on the linoleum floor in the kitchen trying to learn how to ride? I did. So, which is funny because like you say that, because like I've been seeing that people have been saying like, oh, I wear SBs but I don't skate them, and that's the comments that they're getting continuously. And to be honest, I haven't received that. Like I'll be, but I don't. But I've always say I'm not big enough, and for people to say that. But I have been in the streets, and people have stopped me like, "Yo, skater, yo, skater," and then I'd be like, "Sorry, man, I don't skate." But then they'd be like, "What's the spots?" And I'd be like, "Oh, there's over here and over here." They'd be like, "How do you know the spots, but you don't skate?" Like, that's,
I'm just a part of skateboarding,
yeah.
you know. Like, yeah, I don't skate, but I like skateboarding.
Yeah.
Right, right. There's that line too where everybody's like, "You should skate your dunks." Like, but what if you don't skate? You're not capable of skating, but you love skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Then by all means, you should buy SBs and you should wear them, and you know, and that's your vibe. You know, I got nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people, I think they expect because like, you got all these shoes, you should skate them. It's like, well, I do. You know, I actually do skate them. So
Yeah.
there's that. You know, and so. You know, I guess it's the one thing that does bother me is when people say you don't skate because I do. And I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in that industry. And then when they find out, it completely turns everybody around. At first, they're like, it turns the haters into followers. Really, it does.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that. You know, they're just like, dude, this guy fucking sucks. You know what I mean? He just, you know, like he gets the shoe and then, you know, he creases it. He does his thing. He does, but then he doesn't skate it. He doesn't ever skate it. He just keeps it in this thing. And I'm like, all right, well, guess I gotta go do a 360 flip. Now I gotta do something to show these guys that I'm still skating, and I'm, you know, even though I'm gonna be 41 at the end of this month, I'm still on my board here and there, not jumping downstairs, no handrails like that, nothing like that anymore. But I'm still here skating, you know.
Like, yeah, let me just pop a Smith grind real quick right here for you.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the things I still can do, you know. But you know, toss me down a flight of stairs, it's not gonna happen anymore. You know, I learned this about like 3 or 4 months ago, and I just can't. I can't skate stairs anymore. I tried. I gave it my all. Jumped down the thing probably 30 or 40 times. Got my feet on it maybe a third of the tries, and just couldn't stick with it. Couldn't stick it. Couldn't ride away. So my time is over with that. My time is over with
Was
jumping.
it a 6 stair? What was it?
It was a 6 stair.
Oh, okay, okay. I mean, 6 stairs, like, so, I mean, if you landed it, I'm pretty sure you'd probably be like, all right, we got to go up one more, and then you'd be like,
that's right.
Yeah.
But now I'm going the other way. It's like, okay, I'll go back to, I could go to 3 and be able to do it, you know, like, but the 6 stair thing, just for some reason, just I couldn't. Not in me anymore. I'm getting too old. Legs were buckling. I was like, okay, maybe it's just not in me anymore.
Oh,
but
man.
I still skate on the flat ground. I still have fun, flip tricks, things like that. I still am on my board.
You gotta tap into your Rodney Mullen years, man.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's exactly
go.
right. That's exactly right.
Loose trucks and just spinning the board around. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Just loosen that kingpin up and just go. That's right.
But you're here to. I mean, sorry for the hard pivot, but you're here to answer the question that I ask everybody each week, and that is, what's your first kicks? What's that first pair of sneakers you absolutely needed to have?
Okay, so I actually got a couple. I got a couple of stories here. Let's start with what started it all. What got me into. Let's just say this got me into all things exclusive, and this was definitely dunks included. So, this one right here. Okay, now, 2000. I want to say 2003-ish or something. My friend JP, who is actually a part of Moondust Studio now, he's one of the designers here. We went to school together at Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, FITM, in LA. That's how I met him. And we're in class, and probably our second, or no, it's our first year, but our second set of classes together or whatever. So we're chilling, and I'm looking at his screen. He's doing this Nike had like raffles.
Yeah.
Back then. And he was doing a raffle, and it was, you had to answer all these questions, right? So he's answering all these questions about Nike and all this shit, right? I'm like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's just for some shoes. And I was like, I didn't give a fuck. It's for shoes. I didn't know anything about it. Nothing. So he's putting me on game. He didn't know it, but he's putting me on game. Right? So he's like, okay. So the next time I see him, he's sending the email. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Did you win the thing? He's like, oh yeah, I won. I was like, oh, you won things? Like, what the fuck? So he's like, yeah, I watched it. So he shows me what he won, on the site. So it was the signed friends and family pair
wow.
of Hayes dunk, the Haze High, right?
Uh-huh.
So came with a special box, the whole thing, right? And I was like, I want that. Like I want that shit. How do I get that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I obtain what you obtained? Like, I know that you just entered this contest, but how do I buy it? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, you can't. I was like, okay, I can't. But you have it. So I can buy it, right? I don't know anything about exclusive game, nothing. He's like, no, you can't buy it. So I'm like, what the fuck? I can't buy it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, how do I do it? What is this game now that we're playing? What is this? You know what I mean? Because I want it now and I can't have it. And that was the intro to the exclusive game. Like, oh, there's things that people have that others can't get,
Mm-hmm.
that, kind of make you feel really cool about yourself. So this is a long time ago. This is 2003. So I'm like, holy
Yeah.
shit. Like, this is really cool. So now that was the entry to exclusiveness, things of this nature, which was this dunk. It took me up until 2 years ago to obtain this shoe,
Holy smokes. Okay.
because during all those times, this price went up,
Oh yeah.
down, left, right, everywhere. Finally, somebody came with the price that I was like, yes. They wanted cash. And I said, okay, because we were at SneakerCon. I had
Okay.
just done a lot of business. I was like, yeah. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, this is everything you work for, right? This is my grail. This is the thing that, like, I had to have. Everybody's got to have
Mm-hmm.
one shoe, and this is it for me. And so this is the thing that started. So, but this led, because I didn't have this, right? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have this dunk when it first came out, and I wanted it. So
The condition on those are crazy.
this is a DS pair.
I know. I'm looking at them like, how is that even
So
still together right now?
it's a DS pair, and I mean, look at, yeah,
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah,
for the listeners who had the listeners who don't understand this,
that's right.
Moondust pulled out a pair of the Eric Hayes Dunk Highs, and I'm gonna read a little synopsis here. Before you jump into this next shoe,
Yeah, yeah.
these 2003 Nike Dunks were designed by American artist Eric Hayes. Hayes is one of the most prominent graffiti artists to ascend. I don't know why I said descend. Ascend during the 1980s, and his exhibit alongside icons like Jean-Michel Basquiat and Keith Haring. His art, made famous on the walls and subways of New York, is characterized by bold, unique lettering and contrasting black and white paints. The Hayes Dunks were the first to be treated with Nike's printed overspray technique in the artist's signature style. Hayes applied white over black on a leather base. I'm sorry, I can't read. Giving the shoe a great cloudy look, similar to the effect achieved by graffiti artists using spray paint. Released in limited quantities, the shoe featured a custom tongue label with Hayes' graffiti logo and comes in a special Friends and Family edition box featuring Hayes' signature art. You legit have this pair.
No, I don't have the friends and family pair.
Oh,
My friend
okay.
JP has the friends and family pair. I have the regular pair. I have the GR pair that
Mm-hmm.
released, because those other pairs are just a little bit too crazy. But I went one step below, because it's actually hard to obtain that pair, because they only made
Right.
so many of them. I mean, we're talking about, I think there was one at Urban Necessities, and I think it was like 10K or something like that. Like, it's nuts, Can't go that deep into it, I got something that's really close, and I'm really happy with, and it's my grill, so I'm stoked on that. But that led into a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it led into the Tiffany dunk.
Come on, man. Now
So,
you're just making me jealous.
so no. So get this though.
Yeah.
This was the first dunk I actually obtained,
Okay.
and this is what started the collection.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my favorite dunk, not because of its popularity and whatever, but it's actually because it's the first one I was able to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
So, not knowing how hard this shoe was going to be to get, and also, I called a friend at the skate shop, and I was like, "Hey, can I have these? can you get me?" She was like, "Oh yeah, no problem." Because really, dunks weren't
Right. Yeah.
crazy popular. It was popular, but if you knew a friend, you could get it. So I was like, "Hey, I kind of want these shoes. Can you get them for me?" He's like, yeah, for sure. I was like, okay, cool. I got them, walked out. People were tripping. Like, you got these shoes. And I'm like, what? is it that big of a deal? You know, I liked it because of the color. Little did I know, you know, that was these were it, you know,
These
and
were
that was sort
the
of the
Tiffany
beginning.
SBs, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was sort of the beginning of the real big hype. I'd have to say of that for me that I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. That
Hmm.
led to Stussy. That led to everything. That led to all the other shoes that I had obtained during that time. It from there really, it was like it snowballed so fast.
Hmm.
Like, oh, so we just buy these. I just call my friend, and then we buy them, and that's it. That's all we have to do. And he's like, yeah, because like I'm hooking up my friends too, because they're like, so you can get them. I'm like, yeah, yeah. I just call my friend at the skate shop, and then he'll just hold them for me. He's like, oh, okay. So then I find out that. Yeah, I didn't know that was a big deal, you know. So
Oh
I
yeah.
call him, hey, can you hold me like five of them? He's like, nah, can't hold five. I was like, oh, well, I told my friends that you can hold five, like five of them. And he's like, no, man, we can only do one, and we really shouldn't be even doing the one. I was like, oh, so he starts putting me on game.
Yeah.
They're like, these are super exclusive, only certain shops get them. But I was like, oh, okay, I got you. So I was like, so then I'm like, so could you just hold my size every time?
Hmm.
You know, he's like, totally, I got you. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I could just come and then you'll have them for me. He's like, yeah, yeah, I'll just put it. That started it. When you have when you have that and the accessibility,
Yeah.
that's it.
But
It just
how did you get, like, were you sponsored skater? Were
no,
you?
no. Just a friend.
Yeah.
My friend owned a skate shop, you know, and they carried SB, and he was the general manager for those shops, and it worked out, you know. I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy, you know.
Yeah.
It was I've always kind of just been the lucky in the right place at the right time dude.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. Not everything has been easy. It's been really a lot of work and really hard. But when it does come down to it, the stars sort of align.
Hmm.
When I've worked hard enough and I feel like it's there, it comes. It's kind of a weird thing, you know. Nothing has been handed to me, but it's been all the work that gets put in.
Hmm.
Eventually, it comes, and I see exactly what I've pictured from it happens. I don't know if it's because of the right place at the right time or what it is, but the same thing happened with me with the Element job. I was there for 14 years. I mean,
Hmm.
prior to that, working in streetwear, and it's always been that way, you know. But hard working, obviously. We
I
work really
mean,
hard.
I'm not discrediting you at all.
Yeah, but just right place, the right time guy.
Yeah.
You know, at the same time, like work really hard, but also there's just been these stars have just aligned for me a lot and a lot more in the recent years with just people that I've met and you know been able to work with, and we just had our first Nike official Nike job,
Hmm.
which is really huge for us because you know we're
I
just a
mean,
small studio.
don't say too much. They probably got you sign an NDA and this.
Well, no, it just released. It just released, so it's
Oh,
all
okay.
good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was a project for Coach Rob for you know, he had a lot of accolades and things. So it
Hmm.
was a smaller project for a smaller division of Nike, but it's huge for us because it was officially Nike. And the thing was, we had never reached out to
Yeah.
Nike. Nike reached out to us, and that's what I always wanted. I always waited patiently over here to like, you know, like for the stars to literally for the stars to align. I just said, hey, if I work hard enough, they'll come. You know what I mean? Eventually they'll come, and
Yeah.
here we are. You know, I've been collecting their shoes for a really long time. You know, and finally we've got to do a project for them. You know, and it's pretty awesome. But um,
I think
yeah, no,
that's just definitely like, I mean, I can feel it off of you. You put in positive energy of like, I'm gonna get to this. Like, we're gonna, like, it doesn't matter who we if. How do I explain this? Because like, I can feel it through this, where it's just like you're like, if we believe that we can get to a point, we all we got to do is continue to push ourselves towards that, because
that's right.
it doesn't matter how many hills there are in this hurdle, as long as we keep pushing ourselves over them, then we'll be good to go, you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I think a lot of people are like, well, yeah, it's easier said than done. But you know, it really is hard because I left a job. I
Hmm.
left a dream job. I was an art director for one of the largest skateboard companies in the world,
Oh
not
yeah.
just here in the world, globally.
Hmm.
And I was in charge of that, right? So we did really well for ourselves. But for me to walk away from that, imagine what it takes to walk away from that type of security. Not that they're saying, "Hey, you got to go. It's time for you to leave."
Hmm.
Never was that. You know, it's time for us to go do this. You know, it's pretty crazy. You know, it's pretty crazy, and it's not easy for people to do that. That's why like, oh, it's easy. You just did, you know, you fell into this thing. You're an artist. You're able to do your thing. It's like, nah, I walked away from the dream job for most
Yeah.
people. A lot of people wanted that job, right? Working with skateboarders every day, skating every day,
Mm-hmm.
designing skateboards for a living. Are you kidding me? It's the dream job, right? And then they pay you a lot of money to do it. That's crazy.
It's
This
the
is
yeah.
crazy.
I mean, you don't
But
know how many times I was trying to get it. I was just like, I'll even do mailroom editing, but like,
I mean,
sign me
really
up to
though, when you
Zoo
think
York,
about it,
yo, get me in there.
yeah, yeah. No, seriously
Yeah.
though, and yeah, but to leave all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
To pursue something that you have no clue what's going to happen with, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that's a takes a lot. It takes a lot. So for the people that are just like, yeah, no, he fucking just landed and lands on his feet. It's like, yeah, kind of, but also I sacrificed a lot. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? I gave up my dream for another dream.
Right.
I mean, this is now my dream, but it wasn't. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
working in skateboarding and turning people pro and skating my whole life, that was my dream years and years and years ago, right? I fulfilled that dream, and
What
so it's like, what do we do?
what was the moment that you felt like, all right, now it's time for it's time for me to bet on myself.
Do you know what? It was when I designed that fruit pack T-shirt, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just the little stoner fruit guys,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I designed that T-shirt. I think we made like 150 of them, and they sold out in like an hour or something like that. And same thing with like the pillow, all these little things, right? So over the course of like a year, maybe, when things just kept selling out, then immediately when we put them out, I felt a sense of like confidence that like, oh well, maybe I can do what I've been doing for Element all these years. Maybe I can do that for myself. Because I look at my numbers at Element and I'm like, holy crap, I've made, billions of dollars for
Mm-hmm.
them, like off of my art, because that's what's on there. It's my art is on these boards and the boards are selling. And of
Yeah.
course, the pros names help quite a bit. Can't discredit that either, but it takes the art too, right? So I'm like, that was sort of a pivotal point for me was I had done that last fruit pack shirt and we sold it was literally like an hour. We sold
Mm-hmm.
out of every single one. I was like, whoa, what just happened right now? And that really was a big one. That was a big one for me. I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can walk away from this and put my energy all into this. Now we're not, of course, we're not making the same money I was making when I was working at Element doing all these things. Of course not yet.
But it's gonna
But
get there. It's gonna get there. You start. You got to start somewhere. You know.
yeah, but if I don't give my all to it and I spread myself thin and I continue to do Element on at the base I was doing a lot of it. It was
Mm-hmm.
24/7 both. It's going to spread me too thin, and I'll never be able to push Moondust to what it needs to be. The level that it needs to go to without the attention.
Yeah.
And if I don't do it, there's not somebody else here that's going to.
Yeah.
With certain big brands and things, like if let's say I walk away, there's going to be somebody to go in there. Someone's going to
Mm-hmm.
go in there and they're going to take my place and they're going to kill it. And it's going to be great. But with Moondust, it's not that way. So
Mm-hmm.
spreading myself thin over Element and this and other projects too as well sort of became not the way for me. I was like, okay, let's just focus. What if I could just focus my time on Moondust, truly get aligned and put things together? What could we do? And I'm literally at the beginning stages of that. This year is the beginning stages of let's do a job at least every other month,
Mm-hmm.
because we know we don't want to overflood people with stuff. It's just not that time.
Yeah.
But every other month, and let's really think it out and do something really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of where we want to just stick to that schedule. If we could do a job every other month, and it's something really cool that everybody goes after and everybody loves, and they're like, yeah, they're not just supporting because we're a Moondust, they're doing because they really love the product,
Mm-hmm.
then we're succeeding.
Yeah.
And so that's all I want to see for this year, really. It's not about I'm going to make millions of dollars doing this. Like, hell no, we're not going to make millions of dollars doing this right now. But what we are going to do is we're going to grow organically the way that we've always expected ourselves to grow,
Yeah.
and hopefully build this thing into what we would consider a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully we hit the shops. Hopefully we hit that type of level, where we're doing that we're doing it on that scale.
Yeah. What propelled you to base your content around sneakers, and then, well, specifically SBs, especially after being an Element for so long?
Yeah, well, you know what? Like, I think no matter what, skateboarding is, it's in my blood. So I've always wanted there to be that along with the shoe thing. Like both of them kind of for me have always been hand in hand. Most people are like, you're either a skater or you collect shoes. You're not
Mm-hmm.
both, but I'm a hybrid. I am the hybrid of both, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of takes me to I'll stick to this. I'll stick to all of this shoe thing. Well, we're gonna do the shoe vibes where we have like, we did the stained glass hoodie where it is dunks and
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also going to step outside of that this year. That's where I'm saying that we're gonna create more and really build this thing into a brand and line. Is we're gonna go outside of just sneakers and do Moondust. Because Moondust was never just sneakers. It
Mm-hmm.
really wasn't. It was we're a design studio, um, and it just so happened that someone caught on that we're doing these super special sneaker boxes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we and I happen to have a lot of shoes. It just so happened that I made this one shoe box, and I happen to have a bunch of shoes from back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And so the perfect storm hit during the pandemic. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's really what it is. We're a pandemic brand. We're one of the we're one of those few that sort of was birthed from pandemic. Most people were like struggling and hurting and
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out their way, and it was hard. It was harsh, as you know.
Yeah.
We were kind of the opposite. Not to like rag on anybody else, say, "Oh, you had a bad time," but we were thriving during
Mm-hmm.
that time because everybody was at home and all eyes were
Yeah. Their
on Instagram.
phones. Yeah.
Yeah, so not that we took advantage of that. I just was found myself out there, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, how did I even get here? And what's going on? And all of a sudden I'm here, and we have, I think it's 28,000 followers or something now.
Yeah.
I would have never, ever, ever thought in my life that we would ever have anything like that. We started Moondust with 1,200 followers, right? And they were all my friends, or
Damn.
people that I knew, or like this person, very small. It was like that for years. It was
Mm-hmm.
like that for a long. It was like that for a really long time. And then it just spread its wings, and with the help of a lot of people. But man, I have sometimes, to me, I kind of like have to pinch myself. Like, wait, are we doing what you're saying? Making shoe boxes and being in the shoe game and
Mm-hmm.
skating still? Like, is this shit what we do? Like, and it is, and we do it on a level that, yes, get to work with Nike. We get to work with, right now we're working with Kellogg's. We're working
Mm-hmm.
with Trax NYC with Kodak Black and Sniper Gang. We have God, what else is coming? We have a Monster Energy project that we're working on.
Damn, yo. Off the
It's
strength of that, that's wild, man.
you
That's
you
so wild.
Right, and those are the things that we don't. I mean, we're not even showing all this stuff when you think about it. This is the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that hasn't. This is all just stuff that's down the pipeline that we're working on. But to see us coming from one chunky box, that's what it started with a chunky
Mm-hmm.
donkey box. To see it go from that to even the level of Nike hitting us up, because Nike could have easily said at any point, like,
Yeah.
snip, like, nah, man, like, you can't do this shit. What are you doing? Like, like, are you crazy? But they haven't. And I think we respect the rules a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely respect the rules. When we do a Nike themed box, we don't bastardize it. We don't fuck around. We stick to the theme and we do it in our way, but we stick to the theme and we don't make it look like something that they wouldn't do.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that's why they've always been okay with it. Now, that's my rationing, as my rationale, but because they did call us and they never said, "Hey, stop doing that."
Mm-hmm.
They just called us and said, "Hey, let's do some of this with us." Like,
Yeah.
okay, like, yes, that's great. Let's do that. So it is leading into that. That's why, like, when you ask about like why sneakers and why all this and where does it propel me from here, it actually is just the base of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I love. I love skating and I love shoes. I always have. So this is my world, and if people want to be a part of that, then I welcome it. It's definitely a maximalist point of view.
Mm-hmm.
It's the more the better in my case, right? But it's not for lack of quality, and it's not for wanting quantity.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I literally love hunting and collecting shoes. There's an addiction an addiction that most of us are not willing to admit, but
Right.
I am literally addicted to obtaining shoes. I can have a shoe And if someone says, "Hey, do you want another one?" I will always say yes.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
they
I'm with you.
say, "Hey, would you like another one?" I will always say yes. To the point of I have 5 pairs of pawn shop dunks, right?
Wow. Uh-huh.
7 pairs of P rods, like a few of a lot of things, like, and it's because if I catch a retail pair, I'll keep it. Like
Hmm.
I'm not a reseller. I don't sell anything.
Yeah,
So
same here.
so like if I catch one on like Kingswell, like on their website, but I'll just buy it. Retail cop, boom, put it aside. But it's because I want to skate one. And what the problem is, I have this thing in my head that I won't skate it unless I've already doubled up or
Right.
tripled up on it. I
Hmm.
won't skate it. I won't even, to be honest, I won't even rock it until I've gotten the second or third.
Wow.
Whatever
Okay.
it takes,
Yeah.
whatever it takes. Yeah.
See, I thought I was bad. I thought I was bad. I'm a preserver. I'd be like, all right, I got them in. Now they could just sit for like until everybody's like forgetting about them, and then I pull them out, and so people be like, "Oh, word!" And then that's
Yeah.
the effect I'm looking for.
Yeah, right. I'm sort of it's a sort of similar to me, but I usually unless I'm like, I don't need it, I really don't need another pair or whatever. Like I'm cool with this one, But most of the time, man, they won't go onto my foot until I've acquired a couple. You know what I mean? And whether that's resell or retail, whatever it takes for me to get that second pair, I won't. And the fuckery begins when really started off when I got my wife into shoes too.
Okay, here we go.
Holy shit!
Usually you hear
Yeah.
people talking about how their wife wants them to stop collecting. Wife or significant over just like, you gotta, no more sneakers, no more sneakers. But
No, it's like I said, it's maximalism over here, and it is crazy because we know the thing is too. She doesn't want everything, so
mhm.
that's a good thing. But when she does want something, it's like a Travis or like it's something gnarly. It's something I'm like, God, really? You have really good taste in shoes, but shit, like okay, Jackie Robinson, she wanted them.
Mhm.
Habibi, she wanted them. Civilist,
Oh,
she wanted them, and I'm
I
like,
want this. I'm with her
oh,
on those, man. I'm gonna have to start.
mommy.
I'm gonna have to start asking you.
Yeah, so she's going down listening like, holy shit, okay. But the thing is, I spring into action because she asked me I want. Oh, start calling my friend.
Yeah.
What's it gonna take? What cost this? All right, get it. Got to get it. So I obtained it for her, and then, so I mean, her collection is bigger than most dudes' collections.
Mhm.
And that's not to segregate this into women and men's collecting and what, because there's a lot of girls that kill it.
Yeah.
But it started off a lot of guys, a lot of dudes just collecting shoes, and it's mostly their wives saying like, "Hey, fucking knock it off."
Mhm.
But my wife had a big shoe collection prior to this. I had bought her a lot of dunks. We lost a huge box, and all of her dunks were in it in a
Oh.
move. So she had nothing. So she was kind of like, fuck it, I don't care. And
Mhm.
then one day I was like, you know what? Let's just start you back up. Let's just get like a couple. Let's just SBs. Let's just do SB. You know what I mean?
She's over here like, let me tap the vein real quick. Let's get
Yeah,
you back
exactly,
in.
exactly. And then I'm over here like the drug dealer, like I'm your pusher man. Let me just get you, you know what I'm saying? Like let me just get you back in a push her in just a little bit, right? And
That's it.
I Curtis Mayfield her a
She's
little
on
bit.
she's on sneaker news every day. Like, I want these. Like,
It is to the point where she's like, hey, I like these, or I want these ones, like, or can you get this? And I'm like, yep, for sure. And no matter what it takes, like, I obtain it. Lobster. She's like, I kind of like that orange one. Or the orange one. You want the lobster? Yeah, the lobster. Okay, shit. So, but obtained. You know what I mean? I obtained it for. So when I'm not obtaining for myself, I'm getting for her. So my addiction runs deep, and it's fuel. It continues to be fueled because she goes, I want to say, oh, yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go get some more. Yeah, like let me hit up our local drug dealer and get some more of this.
Yeah.
Think about sneakers that we like.
This good stuff. These good rare pairs.
That's right. And a lot of it is from my friend Josh, OOS Kicks. Shout out to Josh, because when I'm looking for like Grail stuff, he searches for me far and wide, and it takes maybe a couple of trades, for him. Like so shout out to my homie Josh. He keeps me right when it comes to all my stuff that I can't get. Basically, the stuff that I can't find and I don't want to go to StockX for, and like he'll obtain for me somehow. Magically finds me
You
DS pick.
you definitely have like the most SBs. I don't know if were you on the forums back in the day? Were you on at NikeSB.org at all?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Do you know? Did you ever follow a user called B5353? Do you know who I'm talking about? He always
No.
used to put up, and there's also I think there's another guy that took his format, but he would have the green label box like as a tag, and it would say
Yeah, yeah.
B5353. Then there's
Yes,
another
yes, yes, yes.
guy. I
I
think
do remember this.
there's another guy now on Instagram. He does the same thing, but his name is David Villarreal.
Villarreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
both those
Yes.
dudes were on NikeSB.org, like posting like the craziest pairs
Ever.
ever, man. And
Yes.
like, and
Forever.
it would, it's like that was like I don't because like I don't know if you
Nike Talk.
see. Yeah, Nike Talk too. But like I don't know if you see like the trend that is now of like people getting earlier pairs and posting it. But like them two were like I remember when the Iron Maiden
Oh,
dunks were shown on the
yeah.
on there, and I remember just being like, I need those. I need those. And then
Yeah.
never coming out, I was like, no.
Yeah. 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 You know, there was this really long period of time where I wasn't buying and collecting. Um, and it's because I had kids, right? So
Mhm.
I missed the eras, but it's funny. A lot of people were like, you kind of missed eras that weren't so bad. You know,
Mhm.
it's not so bad that you missed them. And it's basically it was the taped box era.
Yeah, everybody complains about the tape box
Yeah,
era.
tape box era
Yeah,
I missed. And
I
a
never
lot of
really got any of them though. So yeah,
yeah, that and the blue box era.
blue. I like the. I mean, are you talking about the teal box era, or are you talking about the blue and
The
white box?
blue. Yeah,
Okay,
blue
the blue and
white
white
box.
box. Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
white
There
box
was
and
not much in there.
yeah, exactly. So
Hmm.
they're like kind of but I caught a lot of pink and black and purple. That was
Yes.
a lot of where a lot of my collecting happened. I wasn't a lot big on gold and silver because at the time, by the time I got, it was only a couple of years, a year after, those things were just through the roof.
Yeah.
Supreme highs, all this stuff, like
Hmm.
things were crazy. I did have, which when I told you we lost a box of shoes, let me just tell you a few that were in there. It's pretty harsh, dude. So, all three hemps.
Oof.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So
Baby blue, green. You had baby blue
blue,
and
green, red.
oof. I have red ones, but yeah, that's
Because
gotta hurt.
my green ones were in a sample bag, the
Oof.
baggie, the sealed baggie
Yeah.
with the little thing. Okay, those three gone. Reese Forbes Hunter,
Oof.
yeah. Send Help High, the original, the teal and black one. Send Help
Hmm.
High. Both Lunars.
Those you never see. You don't even see
Oh,
those anymore.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
don't even exist now. Because
yeah.
like
Exactly.
it's crazy because like that shoe was all like people were trying to get like $600 for that shoe in the height on the
Yeah,
websites, like
yeah,
on any of the forums, and I just
yeah.
like what?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, yeah. There's a couple more in there. I can't think off the top of my head. There's Avengers. Both
Oh,
the
both
patent
patent
leather
leather. Oh my
and
god.
the regular leather. So
Oh
both
no, 4 pairs.
four pairs, the
Oh.
blue and the purples. So, and I think there's some GR stuff in there, some other like random dunk, not maybe non SB, some other,
Mhm.
but like, yo, like I was talking to SB Collector about it one time, and we were kind of just adding it up, like at the time, just like kind of like in our head thinking about it, and we're like, you're probably down about 20 grand. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like resell, like like if we were being if we were gonna kind of just put this together and say, hey, someone's
Hmm.
gonna buy these all the same size, 9.5, 10, around. You're looking at I lost at 20 grand. I was like, yeah, fuck, that hurts. But the thing is, though, the box must exist somewhere because we moved it all.
Yeah.
I feel that it's somewhere. I didn't hire movers. Like we moved it,
Oh, okay.
right? It's not like you just leave a gigantic box of sneakers somewhere, right? Like
Hmm.
so, it ended up at my dad's house at one point when they moved, and then from my dad's house to my house when I moved, right?
Hmm.
But he's
Definitely
got
in
a
your
whole
dad's
attic.
house.
That's what I'm thinking.
They
I'm
there,
thinking
man.
one day I'm gonna go into his attic and like that little like pin of light is gonna come from like a hole in
Yeah.
the roof that happened over like fucking 10 years, right? And it's gonna be pinpointed at 420 right at this box, right? And I'm gonna go up there like real stoned and be like, what is this, right? And oh, this box is gonna be there in all its glory,
I'm a listen. I want to take credit for this, but this needs to be a shirt, right? It's a black shirt with a box and like a faded attic area with the light coming out and it shines onto the box. You put that 3M right there. Oh my
That's
god,
right.
that's gonna go crazy, man.
With just some shoelaces hanging out of the box. No
Yeah.
shoes, no, just a few shoelaces hanging out the sides of the box. Just like, wow, dude. I'm telling you, man. Like when I find that box, if and when I find this box, it's gonna be a glorious day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna dump that box and people are just gonna flip. You know, I'm gonna flip.
I want to. That's the unboxing I want to see. None of this.
That,
No mystery boxes. I don't want to
that's
see
right.
nothing on YouTube. I just want to see that unboxing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. God, could you imagine? Even with the cobwebs, the thing, all of it.
Yeah.
I would be so hyped to see it. You know, I can't. And that's the thing. Maybe one day it's gonna happen, but my goal right now is to slowly acquire those shoes back.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are gonna be really hard to get,
Oh
hemps and
yeah.
things like that. But like, whatever I can for reasonable amounts, I'll slowly do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my plan. That's
What?
sort of.
Or is there like I feel like you have every grail, but like is there still grails out there for you?
There are definitely grails out there. I don't have Jedi's. I'd love to have a pair of Jedi's. God, I mean, there's definitely some pairs out there that I'm looking for. I have a list of written down, you know. But I right now I've sort of focused on the new, you know, like everything content wise that we're building is built all around what's coming out that's new.
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna do T-shirts that relate to SB releases, all the newer stuff, because when you go back to Grails and stuff, there isn't a lot of people that have them,
Right.
really. You know, like we can't really go back when we do this kind of stuff. So moving forward for me is really where I see this going. You know, I'm not too worried about like going to find all these old Grails and all these things like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
I mean, especially like in the current times, I don't think there's a real appreciation for what a grail is, right?
mhm.
I think a lot of people now are like they miss out on a shoe and then they go, "Oh, now it's a grail." Like, no.
No, no.
That's not it. That's not it. What I has there been a shoe that put you on a journey that it's like an unforgettable journey that you haven't spoken about yet?
I mean, God, it was the Haze, and then it was the Uncle. So I got one about
Mm.
the Uncles. Check this one out.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Dunks, right? I had this pair of Uncles out the gate since they came out, right? But it was the one shoe out of my collection I didn't get from that skate shop.
Mm-hmm.
I bought it from a reseller
Mm-hmm.
back then. But a trusted guy that I'm not going to call out, who's still in all this game and doesn't know that I remember and anyway, I have this pair, right? And I still have it. I
Mm-hmm.
still have the pair because I went on on SB Collectors Live, right?
Mm-hmm.
I dumped all these boxes of shoes. That's one of the reasons why people know who I am, because I dumped out these boxes of shoes. They're like, oh shit, this guy just dumped out fucking 3 boxes of Grails. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So I go out, I'm on this live with him. That's when everybody's doing the lives, and he's like, oh, we're going through it. I show the uncle, you know, and some guy's like hits me up after the live, and he's like, yo, you know, like I know that everything you showed was legit. Everything you showed was legit. He was like, let me tell you though, I know my sneakers, and that uncle looked really, really sus to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? I was like, really? I didn't know anything about fake shoes ever. Since even back then, I wore the shit out of those things, right?
Yeah.
He goes, can you send me some pictures of them? You know? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Send him the pictures of them. He comes back and he's like, you know, I hate to tell you this, but they're fake. And I was like, no shit. Like, are you serious? That was the hardest blow I've ever had because I paid resale for them. At the time, I paid $500 for them.
Whoa.
And at the time, that's a lot of money. Back then, that was a lot. You know? Now we're talking thousands, right? For a pair of Uncles. But then I paid $500 for them. So I'm thinking they're as real as they could ever be because I paid a real price for them, right?
Right.
But that was a hard blow. He told me like, yo, they're fake. He's like, I'm not calling you out in any negative way. I just don't want you to go rock those at a sneaker show.
And then somebody comes up, somebody comes up to you and be like, yo, those are foo-foo.
You got the foo-foos. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, nah. Like, so he's like, I just want to protect you because the rest of your shit is solid.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that pair? And I was like, let me tell you, it's the only pair that I bought resale back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, well, it's the only pair that's fake in your collection. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because that night we went for an hour and something and dug through my entire collection. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
we're keeping you on. Let's go. Let's go. And I was like, oh my God. So everybody's like just examining and just like talking, we're talking. And that was the only one. He was like, yo. So that sent me on a journey to find a pair of uncles,
Mm-hmm.
which goes back to my friend Josh. He eventually gifted to me after I've been looking, trying to find a good price.
Wow.
He eventually gifted to me for my 40th birthday last year. So I now
That's a
own a
that's a
pair of yeah.
that's a
So
woo.
yes. So shout out to Josh. He goes beyond, up above and beyond to meet my needs when it comes to sneakers like that. But also he knows, like, I didn't even ask. Like, he just knew I was on the journey. Like, I had talked about it in live. I was like, I'm looking for an uncle. I'm gonna try and find it. Eventually it'll happen. It doesn't have to happen immediately. And then here we go. Like, he comes for my birthday and he's like, because I told the story of it, nobody knew the story.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy shit, that's such a crazy story. I'm like, yeah, I wore those things. Like, there's probably so many people in this world calling me out, and I didn't even know it, talking shit behind my back. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And, like, who knows? But, I mean, yeah, to this day, I'm like,
that's rough, man. Because, like, it's funny because, like, it's wild because that shoe was definitely one of the most faked on eBay for, like, a hot minute, man. Yeah. So, like, because, like,
Futura.
yeah, Futura, man. Futura, what's going on? And it was, I remember being like, you'd have to legit check like every single pair on eBay when you see a listing. But yeah, it's a great shoe. I think, I don't know if it even gets, like, you have to be a legit collector for people to really appreciate this shoe. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
you gotta have some history for sure.
yeah, cause like even because like when I've worn, because I have the Unfuturas. I don't, do you know the highs? So I wore those, and some dude is just like, yo, I really like those. What are those? And I go, oh, they're the Unfuturas. And I was just like, he was like, who's that? And I was just like, whew. No, man, don't do that to me, man.
Right.
Because that dude's a legend, absolute legend, man, absolute legend.
Yeah, for sure. It's harder these days to judge people based on that now, though, and I definitely try not to. Where before I was like, oh, you don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know shit about this game. But no, I catch myself biting my tongue quite a bit and say, hey, you know what, though, dude? Like, it's not about you don't know shit. It's about let me educate you, or follow along and just learn. You don't got to know everything. Like, I openly admit I don't know shit about Jordans. I'd like to know, you know what I'm saying? And I like to learn about them. I won't be purchasing them, but I don't know shit. And being able to admit that as a sneakerhead, people are like, well, then you're not a sneakerhead. So, I'm not a sneakerhead. I'm a fucking dunk collector.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what I do. I collect dunks, and it's for skating usually, So it's my view of it is a little different, of why I do this.
I definitely think like people in this culture, because it is a culture. You can have like we have our little subsect of like people into dunks, people into Jordans, like but then there's people that just collect everything and have like the most super diverse collection and stuff like that. But the thing is that the one thing that I think people need to be more accepting of is that we all find this hobby to be something that we all love, and in order to bring more people into it, we have to be more accepting of people not knowing everything, and but that comes with age, because like I remember being, especially when I was Nike SB or die, like I was literally it's NSB or nothing, bro. Like don't come to me, I don't want Jordans. Like I was straight up like that for years, until the Fire Red 3s came out, and I was just like, all right, I need a Jordan. But to me, like the one thing that comes with that I found the most cohesive with skating and sneakers in Nike SB was community, right? So like even if you wore skate sneakers, there was a community that would instantly accept you even if you didn't have a board. And then but like obviously you'll have, oh, you're a poser, and then you go through all that stuff, and You
Yeah,
know, you come
yeah.
out the other side a better person, but you still
Right,
have to go
right.
through it. You got to pay your dues, man.
That's
Like,
right. That's right. And but you know what though, as the years go, right, you start to realize that that's not the way. You know, it's not the
Mhm.
way to unwelcome people, and that's a streetwear mentality that I've always had, and I had to knock off my shoulder. I literally realized one day that I was hating on people for shit that I liked. It blew my mind how much the streetwear industry
Mhm.
brainwashed me into just hating for no reason. Like, oh, look at this fool got fucking sick ass gold fronts and shit. I'm like, fuck, I don't want that shit. Like, I'm like thinking in my head, like, fuck, I want all gold fronts. That shit's tight. But then I'm like, oh, this shit's whack. This fool's fucking whack. But inside, I'm like, yo, I love that shit. Like, I
Yeah,
want that shit.
he
You know,
really doing
whatever,
it.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, this fool's wearing fucking. Oh, you see this guy? Oh, this fool wearing his tips like a fucking idiot, fucking stupid. I'm over here with my tips, like like why am I?
yeah.
Why was that happening? And I seriously that when I realized that that was going on and I was that person, I fucking completely switched over and was like, you know what,
Hmm.
dude? I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like I need to just get out of this. I really was like, I need to get out of this streamer mentality and just be more open to the world. And it actually, obviously, opens you up to better things. You know,
Hmm.
not hating on shit, hating on shit you like.
Yeah.
Straight up, you're like looking at this shit and you're like, damn, that shit's like bounty hunter stuff and like all this stuff from Japan neighborhood. And I'm like, yeah, fuck all that. That shit's so tight. You know, like it's like that shit's so tight. Like
Yeah, yo.
all these people wear bounty hunter. I don't know shit about bounty hunter. Fuck that shit. Fuck these dudes. I'm like, that shit looks tight though. You know, it's tight. I'm like,
You
that shit
wearing
looks tight.
nudies, man? Come on, man. You don't even
Yeah.
like that. It's the rare denim or like Japanese clothing. When Americans be like, "Nah, man, you didn't sit in your bathtub for 4 hours. I sat in my bathtub for 5 hours trying to, got to get these fades right." You know, it's just
Yeah.
like, nah, man, get out of here. You
For
just
real.
hating for no reason.
Yeah, yeah, no, seriously though, dude,
Yeah.
seriously, man. Like, and I realized it, and I was like, all right, no more of this shit, dude. Like,
Hmm.
no more hating for no reason. There really is no reason to do that. It's better to welcome, educate, and bring people in so they don't feel like they're catching that vibe. Like
Hmm.
when you walk into Supreme at the store,
Now
you,
or
let's just say,
2005.
well, let's say 2000. Okay, let's say 2005.
Yeah.
That wasn't the vibes, dude. Like
No.
you walk in there and they're like, look at this motherfucker.
Oh
Oh, you
yeah.
want to buy something? You want to buy some shit? Yeah, all right, all right. You know, like, but why? Right? But why? Why was it that way? You know?
Hmm.
And I look at. I don't want people to have that feeling because even sometimes when you walk into cooler skate shops, they'll make you feel that way.
Hmm.
You know, and like if you don't know about this or you don't know about what size trucks or you don't know about this new board or you don't know about this technology, like they make you feel sort of stupid about it. That's not the way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it should be welcoming. It should be that like, oh hey, well let me educate you. You know what I'm saying? Like even if it's in a cool guy way, it shouldn't be like, oh look at this chump coming into our shop doesn't know shit about skating. Nah, 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 nah. It shouldn't be that. But I caught a lot of those vibes growing up. So it turned me into that, right?
Yeah.
It really did. It turned me into like a dick, you know, like kind of a prick. It
Yeah.
really the streetwear industry turns you into sort of when you're in the wrong side of it. It turns you into sort of a prickly person, you
Hmm.
know. And I saw that, and I'm glad I was able to see it and able to turn myself around to more of this welcoming, like, hey, if you're not welcome there, feel welcome here. Ask the
Right.
questions here. And if you want to ask a question and not tell everybody else that you're asking the question and just have me ask it for you, I'll do that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'll be the one to make myself look like a jackass because I don't care.
Right.
That's that switch that went off, you know? Let's be more of like you said, a community
Yeah.
instead of fucking hating on each other for
Yeah.
the same shit though. Like oh yo, you got the ray guns. Fuck that dude. Fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like
He don't got the white
why?
ones. He don't got the non tie dye ones. Get out of here.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah.
whack.
Fuck that guy, dude. Fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Or he got the tie dye ones. And look at he should have the fucking original ones. You know, fuck that guy. You know, like nah. You know, like no, it shouldn't be that way. And I've definitely walked away from that mentality
Yeah.
and building Moondust around the mentality of everything and everybody is welcome. Like it doesn't matter, dude. If you like shoes, if you like somebody came on one time, we were doing like our sneaker talks, you know, our
Hmm.
show and tell, and like we're showing everybody's showing dunks, and this girl comes on, she shows Vans, right? She's showing her collection of Vans. Now, these aren't super special, they're not crazy, but it's her collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here entertaining it, like that's fucking sick. These are dope. I love that. Blah blah blah. Everybody else is in the comments like talking shit. So when she got off, I was like, yo, listen, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't about what she's showing. Because she doesn't have SB dunks doesn't mean that she came onto a sneaker talk. That's her shit. You know what I'm saying? And then that started actually welcoming and bringing in more people into the
Right.
live. It actually, it didn't turn people away. It was like, oh, well, fuck, let's go over there.
Right.
You know, and let's talk about like Saucony's. Let's talk about fucking Adidas. Let's talk about all this shit. And let's talk about Jordans because I don't know shit about them. So you educate me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh shit. So we built that community. Like you said, that community of like not just hype beasts and fucking streetwear, but yeah, we got all that.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's a friendly environment.
accepting of everybody, and I think that's I mean that's the world we live in now, right? We should be accepting of everybody in general, you know. Like it's not it's not about like it's not about just like yo nah I'm better than you. Like I hate that, man. It's such a I don't know. I'm always about pushing positivity because if we're more positive as people, then we will achieve more by being positive. As your model, your motto in life.
Right, that's right, man. That's right. Let it all align for yourself. Stop being a dick to people. Stop hating on shit that you actually like. No, really though, right?
Yeah.
Stop hating on shit that you like because you know you're doing it. I know there's a lot of people out there listening to this, and it's gonna strike a chord with them. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I do like the color pink. Why don't I wear it? You know what I mean? Like, why don't I just go after it? Why don't I do it? Like, shit, just do what you like to do, you know, and don't let anything get in the way of that, especially for what someone else is going to think, because that's one person's opinion out of billions of people in this world. It's one person's opinion. Who gives a shit, you know? So, yeah, man.
Yo, well, Moondust, I also ask another question at the end of every episode.
Okay.
So I want you to think back to when you bought those tips, right? Because that's the shoe. That's the shoe you actually had in hand, not the hazes. That's the one that sent you on the journey, right? So the tips are in your hand. Now, you as you are right now goes back in time. What would you tell yourself as you open that box?
Ooh, what would I tell myself? I would tell myself not to skate them. That's what I would tell myself. I would tell myself not to skate them because they weren't worth skating. You see, a lot of the shoes back then, they weren't good for skating. The original SBs were not good for skating, but I skated them and then threw them away, whatever, right? I would have loved to have a lot of those. But, I mean, 20, 25 pairs probably thrown away, skated and thrown away, you know? I really wish I wouldn't have done that, you know. And there's a lot of GR stuff, so I would have told myself like, "Hey, even though it's GR, keep it. You'll like it."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then it comes down to like things that were GR then weren't just GR. Like this is a GR shoe. It's a Pee-wee.
The Pee-wees,
right? Pee-wees were a GR release. It wasn't a quick strike. It was a GR release, right? But it had a story connected to it, you know. But these are the kinds of things I'm like, oh shit, dude, I shouldn't have skated these, or like, no, but I didn't skate these ones, but like, there's certain ones that I should have had the same mentality I had now. Buy one, rock one, stock one.
One to rock, one to stock.
Rock one, stock one. I wish I would have had the mentality then. I didn't have the ends to do that then. You know what I mean? I couldn't like just be like, oh yeah, just buy two. Couldn't do that then, you know. But I would tell myself, don't skate them. Or buy two of these. That's better.
Oh man.
Buy two of these for the future. Yeah, that's really, because there's no downhill. There's nothing stopping. There was nothing that was ever going to stop the collection from happening. I couldn't go back and tell myself, hey, don't do this. This is a slippery slope. The shit was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The shit was going to happen. It just, at what degree and what level was it going to happen? You know, that's what I would have prevented there. Was like, no, I could have had a non-cooked pair of tips. You know what I mean? I could have had this one that I skated, you know? And that would have been cool to have, as not just to have a DS pair to sell, but as like a museum piece to have a DS pair. It's cool to see like when I went to that Nike SB museum thing, I got to see a lot of these pairs that we had from the past,
Yeah.
like old ones, brand new.
Brand new. Yeah.
And it's really cool to see, you know. So for me, for just for museum purposes, for collection purposes, I would tell myself to do that. But I'm not mad at my what I've done to these things and that I've worn them and cooked them, because it's a part of like who we are, right?
Yeah,
Like all these
exactly.
things, I have memories of these shoes and what I've done, where I've been, when I got them, where I got them, you know, who I was with when we camped for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stories to them, you know. But yeah, if I were to tell myself something, it would have been that. Maybe it would have been that.
Yo.
Buy two.
Buy two. Get the money, buy two.
Yeah. Go figure it out, dude. Whatever you gotta do, buy two of these things.
Yo, perfectly said, Moondust. Thank you for jumping on. And for everybody, you know what we say every week. Wear your kicks. Peace.
Yes.